Coming up on Sports Buzz, it will be a county battle on Friday and Saturday night as North Knox and South Knox square off in boys and girls basketball.
Lincoln's Xander Hunt has been named the SIAC Player of the Year.
The VU men's team extended their winning streak, moving their record to a perfect 11-0. These stories and more are on their way. Welcome to Sports Buzz. I'm Parker Green.
And I'm Al Chandler.
On the heels of a girls' basketball county showdown this weekend, the South Knox Spartans picked up another big win, this time at Sullivan. Ella Bobe led all scorers with 16 points as South Knox beat the Arrows 44-32. The Spartans led by 14 at halftime and improved to 5-3 with the win. On Saturday, the Spartans will play at North Knox. Both teams will enter the game undefeated in conference play. The Warriors are 3-0 in the Blue Chip Conference, while South Knox is 1-0. Both teams have beaten Northeast Du Bois, North Knox by 11 and South Knox by 9. Tip-off is set for 8 p.m.
North Knox, meanwhile, is still unbeaten following a 64-39 win at home over North Central. The first half was close as the Warriors only led by 5 at the break, but dominated the rest of the way, taking a 19-point lead to end the third and eventually leading by 32 in the fourth. Madison McCory led all scorers with 15, while Brenna Collins and Brooklyn Sturgeon had 12 points each for the Warriors, who improved to 8-0 with the win.
The RIVET Patriots will host Bloomfield tonight. The Cardinals are 3-4. Both teams have lost to North Knox while handily beating Shoals. Tip-off at Holster Gym will be at 7:30 p.m. The Patriots are on a 2-game winning streak after beating Washington Catholic last week. RIVET blew out the Cardinals by a score of 59-29. Lexi Fry paced the winners with 14 points. Kinsey Willis and Mary Herman added 8 points apiece.
The Alices will be making the long trip over to Salem tomorrow night. The Lions are currently 1-5 with their lone win against Eastern Pekin. They play Paoli tonight before hosting the Alices tomorrow evening. Lincoln has battled 2 heavyweights in their last 2 outings. On Tuesday, they fell on the road at Gibson Southern 78-49, while the Alices led by 1. After 1 quarter and only trailed by 11 at the half, the Titans pulled away in the 3rd quarter, where they outscored Lincoln 21-5. Ari Gherkin led the Alices with 15 points, while Macy Sexton added 8 and Faith Fleetwood had 7. Last Saturday, Lincoln fell to 9-0 Cordon Central, 50-27.
In this week's ICSGA girls basketball poll, North Knox remains 3rd in Class 2A. Forest Park is ranked 1st, followed by Andrian and the undefeated Warriors. Linton is honorable mention.
In Class A, RIVET dropped to 10th this week. Lansville is number 1, while Tecumseh is 6th. Northeast Du Bois is at 9th, and Wood Memorial is an honorable mention.
Area schools in the Class 3A poll include the Gibson Southern Titans at 8th and Evansville Memorial at 9th. Twin Lakes holds down the number 1 spot in 3A.
South Bend, Washington is the top team in Class 4A, while Bedford North Lawrence is 5th this week.
On the boys' hardwood, 2 county rivals go head-to-head Friday night in Verne as South Knox hosts North Knox. The Spartans come in an impressive 2-0 while North Knox seeks its first win of the year. Friday's tip-off is set for 7:30. Tuesday night, the Warriors dropped to 0-2 as Clay City pulled out a 53-28 victory. Riley Myers scored 17 for the EELS, who scored the game's first 7 points and led 38-17 after 3 quarters. Landon Worstel led North Knox with 7 points, while Mason Lyons added 6. The Spartans, meanwhile, had an impressive Thanksgiving weekend with victories over both Sullivan and Evansville Harrison. Dakota Chandler led all scorers at Sullivan with 16 points, while Dylan Mader led the way against Harrison with 17. Saturday's game with Harrison was part of the annual Gobbler Games event at Rose-Hulman in Terre Haute. This Friday will be the first Blue Chip Conference meeting for both teams. Vincennes-Lincoln will open conference play against Evansville Reitz tomorrow night. It will be the first game of the season for the Panthers, while the second for the Alices. That game will get underway at 8. The Alices lost in their opener last week as they were edged by Pike Central 64-62. The contest was a back-and-forth battle with the Chargers making free throws in the final seconds. Joel Sanders led Lincoln with 22 points, including 6 three-pointers out of 7 attempts. Darius Hill had a double-double with 12 points and 10 rebounds, and Wade Hill added 10 points.
The RIVET Patriots continue to search for their first win of the season. Despite a career night by the Patriots' Tommy Herman, RIVET fell to 0-2 after losing to Shakamak last week. The Lakers dropped the Patriots 61-48. Herman dropped in 29 points, including 10 of 12 shooting from the free throw line. Isaac Coiter reached double figures also with 19 points. RIVET was scheduled to play Medora on Saturday, but that game has been postponed. They will play next Friday at Washington Catholic.
Over in Illinois, county rivals Lawrenceville and Red Hill go head-to-head on the hardwood Friday in Bridgeport. The Indians are 3-1 after a second-place finish last week at the Capital Classic and a 66-53 conference win over Paris this week, while the Salukis are looking for their first win of the season. Bryant Jenkins has been Lawrenceville's top scorer with double figures in all 4 games so far, while Jacob Powden and Ozzie Ash have been key scorers for Red Hill. Tip-off in Bridgeport is set for 7:30 p.m. Central.
Vincennes Lincoln's Xander Hunt was recognized for his outstanding play this fall as he was named the Player of the Year in the Southern Indiana Athletic Conference. The junior quarterback was one of 7 players named to the team. He was an at-large selection for the offensive first team. Hunt was the go-to guy on offense. He threw for 1,464 yards and 10 touchdowns. He led the team in rushing with 908 yards, including 13 TDs. Joining Hunt on the first team were senior defensive back Dwan Gillis and offensive lineman Daniel Nash. Players making the SIAC second team included running back Jackson Johnson, kicker Luke Lindsay, defensive lineman Hayden Payton, and linebacker Will Hambrick. The Alices finished 4-5 in conference play and placed 7th in the league.
The modern-day Wildcats are state champions in football for the first time since 2000. Mason Wunderlich threw 2 touchdown passes to Ethan Stoltz as the Wildcats defeated Andrian 20-10 Friday at Lucas Oil Stadium in a rematch of last year's Class 2A title game. Modern Day's Joey Pierre won the Blake Rest Mental Attitude Award, named in honor of the former IHSAA commissioner. The Wildcats finished with a final record of 12-3. Later on Friday, East Central won the 4A Finals 37-7 over New Prairie, while Central Grove defeated Carroll in 6A 35-9. In Saturday's championships, Indianapolis Lutheran won Class A over Adams Central 30-13, while Bishop Chatard beat Lawrenceburg in Class 3A 34-14. And Valparaiso edged Whiteland for the 5A crown 35-31.
Ford County high schoolers went undefeated at the Lincoln Invitational. Ty Henderson at 106 pounds, Parker Wonke at 120 pounds, and Darius Williams at 170 were all 5-0 for Lincoln High School. North Knox Jake Phipps went 4-0 at 182 pounds. Lincoln came in second at the Invitational behind Terre Haute South. The Alices beat Oblong, Illinois 72-9, Washington 66-18, and North Knox 84-0 in its pool matches. In crossover matches, Lincoln took down Olney, Illinois 72-12 before losing to Terre Haute South 58-15. North Knox couldn't get a win in 5 dual matches. The Warriors fell to Washington, Oblong, Lincoln, Mount Carmel, Illinois, and South Spencer. The Alices take the mats again on Saturday at the Castle Invitational at 10 a.m., while North Knox hosts the Warrior Invitational at 9 a.m.
South Knox's Aubrey Nowoski was named to the Class 2A All-State Cross-Country team by the Indiana Association of Track and Cross-Country Coaches. She finished 71st at the state finals this year, 16th at the semi-state, 5th at the regional, and 3rd at the South Knox sectional. Nowoski was one of 12 runners selected for the honor. Peyton Smith of Linton was the only other area runner chosen for the team. South Knox had 4 runners make the honorable mention list, including Ava Like and Peyton Robbins for the girls' team, while Dylan Mater and Calvin Crabtree were selected for the boys' team.
A local coaching legend has called it a career. Bar Reeve volleyball coach Amber DeCourcy announced last week she has stepped down after 23 seasons leading the Vikings. DeCourcy led Bar Reeve to 15 sectional, 11 regional, 6 semi-state, and 3 state titles, and won a total of 692 games behind the bench. This season, the Vikings won their 6th straight sectional title, including the last 2 in Class 3A, after being bumped up twice due to the IHSAA Tournament Success Factor rule.
Another DeCourcy has made headlines last week as Amber's daughter Dylan signed to play volleyball at Vincennes University. DeCourcy inked her letter of intent to become the first member of 2023's recruiting class. The 5'9" setter concluded an outstanding career for the Vikings. Her team finished 33-2 on the year, including a Class 3A sectional title. DeCourcy finished the year with 505 assists, 307 kills with a .467 attack average. She also had 160 digs and 42 aces. She is a 2-time Blue Chip All-Conference performer. She was named twice to the IHSVCA 3A All-District team, and she has received second-teamed All-State honors. DeCourcy played on the 2020 Bar Reeve team that won the Class 2A state title, which included former VU player Hannah Graber. She plans to major in psychology at Vincennes University.
The VU men's basketball squad is still unbeaten after a blowout 90-59 win over Lewis and Clark Wednesday night. Shiloh Jackson had a double-double with 23 points and 12 rebounds, while Kent King came off the bench to add 14 for the Blazers, who improved to 11-0 with the win. The Blazers led the boards, grabbing a total of 52 rebounds in the victory. VU heads to Olney Central this Saturday for an 8 p.m. tip-off.
Still unbeaten and having won 11 straight, the VU men have climbed up to number 6 in the NJCAA rankings. Indian Hills is number 1 with an 11-0 record, followed by Salt Lake, Odessa, Chippewa, and Southern Idaho, with Odessa's loss to Southern Idaho the only one among the top 6. Rounding out the top 10 are Tallahassee, Monroe, Moberly area, and Dodge City, with the latter 3 making the top 10 for the first time this season.
The VU women's team dropped a 78-70 decision to Three Rivers on Tuesday night. The Blazers battled back and forth with the Raiders, but ended up losing to them for the second time this season. Former Vincennes Lincoln player Macy Lang and sophomore Sherelle Newsom led the Blazer offense with 18 points apiece. Lang just missed a double-double with 9 rebounds. Newsom connected on 6 three-pointers in the contest. VU is now 7-3 and will play at Region 24 opponent Olney on Saturday. Tip-off is at 1 p.m.
And that's all for this edition of Sports Buzz. For everyone here at Vincennes University Broadcasting, I'm Parker Green.
And I'm Mal Chandler. This is the last program for the semester here at VU. Have a happy holiday season, and thanks for watching Sports Buzz.